All right, how's everybody doing on this glorious morning? So this is a brand new PC. Well, hardware's the same, but you guys know I was having issues. I was running Arch on my stream PC, which was a complete pain to set up. And yeah, we needed to switch some stuff out. So obviously this time around, Debian-based LTS release, just because I wanted to really make it stable. And there's going to be a lot of tweaking that probably happens during the stream, or things that are a little off. Mainly because all I did was pull in my configs, drop it into my configs folder, and then I compiled the latest OBS. So this is literally the build from this week. Like, it's bleeding edge, so it's going to be probably a little buggy in some parts. So I'm curious to see what we get, but the VH Dell. But so like, yeah, so like it's really interesting when it comes to streaming in Linux. Like, that's the one thing a lot of people, oh my gosh, Vinald already got 10 push-ups, but I'll get to it just a second. But first we do push-ups. Let me finish this thought. So when it comes down to it, like, I think the future of a stream PC, which is a dedicated production box, is Linux, because you can just not have anything change. Like, once you get it set up perfectly, ideally you just walk into a room, walk over to a button and press it, and then it just works. And that's pretty much how this is set up. Like, I set my little stream deck up right here and got everything going, everything pulled in pretty good. And you know, there was a lot of configuration that goes into setting up a stream PC in Linux, but overall it should be a lot better experience in the end. But that said, OBS is not where it is on Windows. OBS is still a long ways behind. I literally download, clone the GitHub, compile my own Debian package, and install it. So I don't use a PPA, I don't use anything. I don't use anybody else's binaries. So I am compiling like literally the bleeding edge from the OBS team. And it's really nice. I do that mainly because, well, I need browser sources. There's a lot of improvements that they're making in Linux, but the official stable release of OBS kind of sucks in Linux, to be honest with you. It's just not nearly as advanced as the Windows version. That's why I'm on the bleeding edge of it, just to get those features. Gym time, man. You guys are cruel. Yeah, streaming from CentOS, it's a little bit harder, Vinald. I can't really use a rel-based system, or it's harder to do a rel-based system, just because of all the different shenanigans that I'm getting going. So there's a lot of non-standard stuff in this build. One, there's a Stream Deck. So I'm using an open source project that may or may not be updated. So somebody created it. It's awesome. It's fantastic, but it's based on Python, and it doesn't see a lot of love because it's just one guy that does it. So whether or not that continues, hopefully, but I don't know. And then two, it's using an NVIDIA card, and that's the 1660. It's all this is being done with NVENC 2, which basically gives you that really fast encoding and good quality, and it takes off all the load from the CPU. And then three, well, there's a lot of things as far as the Magewell card and how it ties in with the kernel and the drivers and those types of things. Man, I mean, there's just so much that goes into a stream PC setup. That's why nobody really runs it. Like, I think a lot of Linux content creators are still using Windows. They just won't admit to it. So that's just something that, you know, it's one of those things where you really go through a lot of pain to get it kind of set up like this. Not to say in the future that's the case, but right now it definitely is the case. It's way easier to stream and get everything set up on Windows. But I think the end result is really what I'm more concerned with, and being on that edge. So what processors in the stream PC? Good question, Michael. That's a 2700 AMD. So good processor. I got it cheap. So if you're not familiar with the 2700, that's still, I think, a Gen. It's still considered Gen 1. It's really Gen 2 if Ryzen, but it's a Gen 1 board. You know, an old motherboard I had left over, and I got that. I think we purchased it on stream actually, because I was like, I need a new setup for it, and it was about $200 with the motherboard and the processor, because it was on clearance. So it was a really good deal. It's 16 threads, 8 cores, really decent. 16 gigs of memory, DDR4. So a really good build, but probably about $400 to $500, not including the GPU. Well, no, the GPU was $250, I think. No, 300 probably. Something, no, it was about 250 because the 1660 I think runs around there. So yeah, I think the in build might have been just a hair over $500. So I'm pretty budget conscious. I'm never bleeding edge usually on my stuff here, just because I like to be with, you know, I like to be on hardware that's equivalent to what everyone else is using. That way, when I make a video about something, it correlates to the viewer because they're able to see the exact same result. And it's not just because I have amazing equipment or something crazy. I had a good weekend, Sparky. How was yours, man? We did, what was I doing this weekend? I was rebuilding this PC, and I built it twice. The first time I had Mint in, and then I had networking issues, and I thought it was Mint, and it wasn't. I was tinkering around with it, and come to find out, I'm such an idiot. So I'm a little bit paranoid with the security on my firewall, so I blocked the top 20 countries, not including the States. And you do that, there's a lot of mirrors in Linux that reside outside of the United States. And specifically, when you get into Ubuntu and Launchpad, there's quite a few that reside outside. And yeah, it was causing all kinds of problems, and it was totally my fault, as usual. And yeah, that was a fun one. So I ended up throwing like Pop! OS 20 on here to try out the tiling mode. And the tiling mode's garbage, long story short. I think I showed it on one of the streams. But yeah, no, I get to messing around more with that tiling mode, and it sucks. They still have a long ways to go with that. Yeah, like you minimize a window and it like disappears. Like you have I can't get the damn window back. So that's a bug. So there's still quite a bit to be left going on that. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens. What was, oh crap, I forgot to set the stream title. What did I put for there? Oh, modifying Cinnamon. Ooh, yeah. Ooh, with the tiling manager. So, yeah, I'll talk about this, the modifying Cinnamon with the tiling window manager, because I was working on this weekend for this stream. And this was definitely anytime I end a stream, I try and think of the next stream. And there's a lot of things the Cinnamon desktop environment we'll go over as well. We'll do some push-ups and then I'll go over that. Yeah, Finland never blocked. It's mainly China and Russia is where I get a lot of attacks from. Michael, I blame Mint. See how it is. Well, it's easier to blame somebody else than yourself. Isn't that the truth? Like, no matter what you're doing, it's so hard to just be like, well, it's my fault. It's just like human nature. You want to blame something else, but usually it's something I did. Ooh, geo-walling. Yeah, so that's a good one, Sparky. I was using a geo IP block with PF Blocker from Pfsense, and that was pretty good. It worked out pretty darn solid, but that's a cool little project though, Sparky. Thanks for the link, man. GeoWall. I think you've linked that to me before, because I've been in your GitHub quite a bit. Yeah, so let's do some push-ups, and then we'll see how I'm feeling. God, might be rough today. Still waking up, so push-ups first thing. Why not? I did make a button on my Stream Deck now, so we should be able to do push-ups. Ah, there we go. Push-up cam. It's live again. It lives. I can't believe all that's still working. That's great. All right, 20 push-ups. We are not starting military today. Ah. All right, back to it. Oh, one hand, yeah. That might be a month or two, guys, before we do one hands. I did make it out of PJs today. You know, I was in PJs the other day because I just didn't have any laundry to... Man, good on you, Dan. Already did 50 push-ups. Heck yeah. Thanks for the cheer there, Mike. When is plank reverse planked? Yeah, start adding a bunch of variety. That's hilarious. That's awesome, though. Like, just completing 100 push-ups and those types of things. I added it mainly just for the health aspects, because I wasn't really exercising at all, which is hilarious because I used to be so avid about it. But I think everybody has that story. You know, it's one of those stories. Like, you'll run into like this guy that's like probably 40. You know, probably 40s I think is probably the biggest time you run into it. And you'll run into a 40-year-old. And they'll go, you know, 10, 20 years ago, I used to be really buff. I used the gym a lot. I mean, every single person in their 40s typically has that story. And I don't want to be that guy. I want to be that guy that's like, you just look at him and you're like, okay, yeah, I'm not going to have a six-pack, but at the same time, hopefully I don't have the giant gut. But it's hard, man. Like, you know, when I was in my 20s, I was like, that's never going to be me. But now that I'm like, I'm pushing 40, I'm like, I get it. I get why that happens. You know, it's one of those things like, when you're in your 20s, you're like, you know, there's no way. But as you get older, you realize things aren't quite as easy as it was back then. That's for sure. You could eat like a cake and then just like run around the block and lose 5 pounds. Dang, what are we up to now? 30 push-ups. Oh my word. No hand push-ups. What was that? What is that? I'm thinking of Tenacious D, the Pick of Destiny. The no hand push-up. How to change a tech channel into a sport channel. Oh god, I'm already getting blowback from the cryptocurrency video from today. To be expected, though. I knew I would on that one. But it's something like a passion of mine. It's still tech. It's just, it has such a bad stigma around it. I'll probably lay off on that. Maybe just do it on LBRY. But I had that one shot and I was like, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it. But I always waffle a little bit on whether to do that. But, you know, it's one of those things. I do still like to do a little variety. I don't like to just talk about one thing. which is hilarious. Like I remember when I talked about Windows for like the first time, like I did Linux like for 3 months straight, and then I did a Windows video, and then like some of the Windows guys come in like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about, and I was like, dude, you do realize that like this has been my job for like 2 decades, so yeah, I do. So yeah, it's interesting how YouTube works and how everyone has to stay in their lane and you can't talk about anything but this one thing, and that kind of drives me crazy. So I kind of like to just throw in a video just to mix it up every once in a while, like just blow things up just to get a little variety too, and it helps me keep my sanity, to be honest. I got another 40. Holy crap. All right. Let's we can't have a running tally of 40 push-ups. One more set of 20, and then we'll get on to the topic at hand, tiling window managers in Cinnamon, and some of the quirkiness with that. And we'll jump on the desktop here. So let's head over to the push-up cam. 20 more right now. Let's get them abs. All right, here we go. All right. Woo. Ooh, doggies. All right, here we go. Get it. 40 in the can. I think that's the quickest we've ever gotten to 40 on push-ups. We still got one. Still low. Lol. Another 10. Dang, Mike. Hitting it up. Thank you so much, man. Big shout out to Mike. 10 gifted subs for all the people in the audience. That's awesome. But yeah, so the tiling window manager in Cinnamon. Oh, this is a fun one. So I'll start this one out by talking about KDE. And you're going to probably be like, why are you talking about KDE when we're looking at Cinnamon? And it's because KDE has some stuff in it that a lot of people, depending on your system configuration, KDE isn't as stable as other desktop environments. And it's how it is structured. It is structured completely opposite of how Cinnamon is structured. So I wanted to explain the structures of these two desktop environments. And so you have what makes up a desktop environment is really the biggest thing. And really what makes it up is system tools to interface with like your display, your menu systems, the window system, how you do shortcuts, how you interface with just your computer, you know, so you're not constantly living in terminal, right? So that's what makes up a desktop environment. Yeah, there's probably more in there, but we're just going to say that for now. And KDE is very modular. So you have KWin for the window manager. You have a lot of other stuff. You have a launcher. They have an indexer called Blue. They have all this stuff, but it's all kind of all over the place. And that's KDE. You can do pretty much a lot of cool things like switching out the window manager. You know, you can switch out for KWin for i3. I've done it. It's a bit buggy. I don't recommend it, but you can do it. And what I wanted to do was do a lot of my tiling window manager, because I've been in a tiling window manager for the past 3 months. Every video I make, that thing you see, that's just awesome window manager with a whole bunch of stuff. So I wanted to do the same thing with Cinnamon, or at least try to. And how that works is Cinnamons are like plugins, like Cinnamon menus, the control panel, all those things are plugins to its window manager. So it's all encompassing. And this is just a a lot of people in the Linux community, especially in the vets, give a lot of hate towards Mint because of this fact, because it's not as modular as the other one. However, it is very stable because there's not as much moving parts and things of that nature. So that's a huge difference in design between like KDE and Cinnamon. And as I got into Cinnamon messing around, there's really not that much you can really break because of this fact. Everything's kind of all encompassing. So like if I try to switch out and only use a window manager, well, I'm probably not even going to be using Cinnamon really at all anymore because of how encompassed it is. Because its window manager is called Muffin, like a muffin you eat. Just type Muffin Linux window manager and it'll pop up a Wikipedia page and you can kind of see all this, but how the plugins and everything work. And also you can kind of see this with the extensions and the theming and those types of things. It's all just kind of baked in. So like when we were doing the customization last Friday on stream, a lot of that was revolving around that. So it's very interesting. But of two completely different design philosophies, and it was really interesting to kind of see how those played out. So like Gnome's like almost both Lolly. Gnome is a very interesting. I hate Gnome. It's like my absolutely. So it's like Gnome has like, it kind of does it half-assed. That's like the best way to explain it. Like I love Cinnamon and I love KDE. They both have very different design philosophies, but I hate Gnome. So Gnome does things real kind of wacky. It's somewhat modular. But at the same time, there's parts of it that are really heavy. Like you have these extensions that just kind of like tack on. That's not, I don't want to say it's not modular, but it just is really funky how you bloat up Gnome. And when you start adding like docks and those types of things, Gnome becomes just, use a different desktop environment. It's just, Gnome is really meant to be used the way the Gnome team wants you to. It's not to say it's bad. For some people, it's a fantastic workflow. For me, I don't like it, but that's me. Everyone's a little different. So Gnome is a completely, I would say that's a whole new group. It's like the difference between modular and baked in, kind of like what you see with Cinnamon. So there's parts of it that, yeah, but it's so bloated that, I don't know if bloated's the word. It's just difficult to explain, really. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. That's why we just kind of sit here in the stream and just kind of spitball these things. But, yeah. I'm going to leave it there. That's a horrible explanation. I would just cut this video and throw it in the trash. Normal, but we're live, so that's what you get. That's just my raw thoughts. I just need more coffee. What are we up to? All right, Lolly was the last one. Holy crap. 1, 2, yeah, we're up to 40 push-ups. Holy crap. All right, we already got 40 in the can. We got 40 more. What about XFCE E4? XFCE is very modular. Even more modular than KDE. XFCE is really nice. I love its structure. The only criticism I have of XFCE is it's so darn ugly out of its stock settings. If I could just get a hold of that development team, I'd be like, listen, I made a customization video over XFCE. So if you want to use XFCE, follow that customization video, and it's going to be like, it's going to look fantastic. You're going to be like, yeah. You could submit something to, Unix porn, and it's gonna look awesome. It's gonna look dope. But do people still looks dope? That's probably such a 90s reference there. Anyways, yeah, I love XFCE, but very, very modular. And a lot of times you can mix and match what you want to do, or just use some components of XFCE. It's pretty solid. But out of the gate, again, got to do lots of customization to XFCE. I know this is kind of off topic, but how could a user isolate a program under wine? FireJail cannot isolate under wine prefixes. Oh, Wyclep. That's a good question. I've never actually tried to isolate my wine bottles. Mainly because I haven't really seen too many viruses that are wine aware, which means, hey, that the virus is designed to run on Windows, but it knows when it's being run on Linux and it can infect the Linux system. I don't know if that exists yet. I've infected wine bottles before. I've run viruses in wine just to see what would happen. And sure enough, it totally messes up the whole system. Or it messes up the whole wine bottle system. So, like, I'll just reboot if I get an infected wine bottle and then just delete the entire directory and then just rebuild it. And I've never had it spread outside the wine bottle. Even though, technically, when you run it in wine, it does have system-wide access, usually, or at least home directory access. So, you know how people say never run sudo wine anything? That would give it root level access, where when you run wine, it only has user level access, so it really doesn't have any access to like USR, etc, most of the system functions, to really cause much damage. So, I mean, how isolated do you really want a wine bottle? Even me running a virus, after rebooting and just deleting the bottle, I've never seen anything come of that. Not to say it won't happen, but I mean, it's not like it can auto start programs and crap like it does in Windows, or infect the registry, or, you know, there's a whole bunch of host of problems it can do with Windows. But with Linux, even running it, a real nasty virus, it'll lock up your system. You reboot, it can't auto start, and it's pretty much still in the actual wine bottle itself. If it was wine aware, maybe it could do like a rabbit virus and spread outside of the wine bottle and create a whole bunch of folders somewhere, but I've never seen it. Not to say it can't be done. I think it could, but I mean, really, nobody's going to waste time on that, I should say. So I don't know how much you want to do, but it's not like you can run something in wine and it can just take over your entire system like it does Windows. Unless you run wine as sudo, which you should never do. Like, there's no program that needs sudo wine anything. Don't ever do that. That's just dumb. That's the whole design philosophy of Linux is for security in mind. So, you know, just watch where you have your files and folders and what it has access to. Have you ever had a company, you or IT, get completely taken down by an attack? Yeah. ETV, Matt. That's happened. A good attack. Somebody was doing something on the web, and this would have been, I remember it vividly. I think it would have been about 2011. This is the last time I've had a complete outage like this. And somebody ran a virus. Of course, it was like bleeding edge. So the antivirus at the time, which was Trend Micro, is what I was running. Really shitty antivirus. If you're you would be honest, I hate Trend Micro after this. I stopped using it, and then I went to a worse one, which was Avast. I tried Avast Small Business for this business, and that was a mistake as well. Anyways, those were two really bad antiviruses, for example. But anyways, I was on Trend Micro. It slipped past the antivirus, and what this virus did is it hid every single network drive folder. So the root of every network drive immediately hid all the files, and then it made a copy of the file as a shortcut. And that shortcut, it named the same thing, the icons looked the same thing, but as soon as you clicked it to open a folder or whatever file was there, it would go ahead and run that virus on the other computer in the same network. So this would spread rapidly, you know, really bad. And I had to shut down the entire server and basically just send everybody home for about an hour. I luckily, so I was very fortunate in this instance. I was talking to a buddy of mine, and this is when, you know, I think too many people in the IT field get too isolated. But having friends and things like that you talk to on a daily basis that work in other businesses is really important. And luckily for me, a buddy of mine just wasted like 3 days on this exact same virus. So I got really fortunate, and I called him up as soon as I got hit. I was like, dude, this looks exactly like the virus you got. And he was like, oh, dude, all right, yeah, shut everything down. and this is exactly what it did. And I was like, all right, cool. So he kind of let me know how the virus was infecting things, and then I was easily able to isolate, go ahead and delete all these shortcuts, go to every computer that was infected, and kind of trace everything back and wipe it clean. And I was luckily only down for probably, I want to say between 1 and 2 hours. So not too bad. Yeah, Wyclef, separate user for wine. That's a good one as well. Is there a way to undo a sudo wine command? You can make an alias and say sudo wine and then just make the alias wine. So if anybody does try to do that, yeah, it wouldn't do it. But yeah, that's probably the nastiest virus I've run into in business. There was some in the mid 2000s when I was cleaning XP boxes, and this is more residential that I ran into. That was pretty gnarly, but nothing too bad really. Business-wise, that was probably the worst business virus I've run into, where it took down a business. Oh yeah. Let me grab the Discord link for those wanting to jump in Discord. I usually every Monday, Friday, I'll grab another one and do like a 24-hour invite. So let me jump over to my Discord here, and we'll launch that and get some people invited. And let me do some Discord action. I have my Linux main box still up over here, so I can swap that out. Let me do that so you guys can see what I'm doing. We'll swap out to the regular studio PC. All right. I'm having a hard time thinking today, guys, I'll tell you. Alrighty. Here we go. Incoming Discord link. Alright. Join the chat at... I need to change that Discord link. There's the new one. That's good for 24 hours, guys. Talk about temps in Linux. Sandbox, when you say temps in Linux, are you talking about just how usually there's not much power management going on, so you get a little bit higher temps in Linux compared to Windows? Just depends on what where you want to go with that. Run wine in a CH-root environment. Don't ever do that. Don't ever do that. All right, let's do some push-ups. Why not? And we'll do a dab and then do some push-ups. I like that. Tara, we're going to rock that. All right, Anime, take it easy, man. All right, here we go. Dab time, push-up time, and then let's just jump on the desktop after this. I think we'll get on the desktop and hammer around a bit. Whew. Dab time. Prolonged dab. And some push-ups. Why not? We'll finish that up with some push-ups. Ah. Alrighty. Woo, man. All right. What are we doing here? We're on the primary desktop. Switch to a stand-in position. Actually, let's go back to chat. Answer my question, or I will buy another 10 push-ups. Oh my gosh. Oh man, Michael's at it again. Thanks, Mike. Another 10 subs for those in chat. That is amazing. Thanks so much for the gifts, man. For all those that got them. You guys are killing me. What are we at? We only got 40 more left in the stream. Lordy, we might finish 100 push-ups for the first hour or two. Dang. Whew. Yeah, whenever you have subs, Michael's trying to kill me, I think, because whenever you have subs or you're a subscriber of the channel, you accumulate channel points, I think, at a 2x or 3x rate. So then you can buy tons more push-ups. So, like, everybody in chat now, thanks to Michael, has, like, a subscription to the channel. And now can, like, buy more stuff with channel points. So thank you, Mike. Keeping me in shape. And we can save for the dab. Thank you, Bane, for not trying to kill me. How did your Windows upgrade experiment go? Thanks for asking, Hink. So we tried to do a update experiment going from DOS to 3.1.1 to 95 to 98, and then 2000 and onward. So basically, 95 and 98 were a huge issue. You had to do a bunch of third-party patches and things like that to get it all going. So that was something kind of crazy. Because even after I did it, there was a lot of hacks I was doing to get it going. I never did quite get 95 or 98 working properly. And by the time I could get it going, I was just like so over the whole challenge at that point that I just gave up. So, yeah, sorry all. That was a bust, because that would have made a fantastic YouTube video if it worked out how I wanted it to work out. But at the end of the day, it didn't. So I was like, ugh, all right. Turbo, thanks for the sub, man. 5 months, 5-month streak. That's awesome. And I'm gonna get on probably like Fiverr or something, grab a bunch of different sub badges. I'm gonna change all the sub badges up a little bit. The penguin is just too small, I think, with the little square around him. So I'm gonna do something fun for the sub badge, and I think I'm gonna get rid of the exterior outside and do something completely different this next time around. Pebbles, thanks for the sub with Twitch Prime. Much appreciated, man. Pebbles is first time sub, man. Hype Train. Yeah, Hype Train's up. Level 4. That's a high, I think. No, we got higher, I think, last stream, wasn't it? But, yeah, that's awesome. Oh, yeah, Zen. I do need to add a tracker to it. I've been meaning to do that, so I'm still tinkering around with like some of the scenes in OBS and some of the programming behind the scenes. So, yeah, that's going to be amazing. Whoa, dang. Michael's laying it down today. Damn. Oh. Yeah, I think that's the highest bit the channel's ever gotten. Dang. Thanks so much, Mike. Again. Amazing. Yep. We're having some filet mignon tonight on Mike. Or tenderloin, depending on where you sit there. If we could get the meat, that is. But yeah, let's flip over to desktop here and see what we got. I think let's go over to primary, and we're gonna go top of the rack. Drop this one. We're gonna drop into this PC. Now I redid this the last stream. You may have noticed, or maybe not have noticed, that was all kind of within the actual manager. I was either using VNC or I was using an in-band manager. I've since run everything directly into my capture card on the third PC, so this is native level access on Mint. So I can tinker around and all that stuff without using a VNC, which is really nice. So it's still a little bit out there as far as the reception goes, but still pretty solid. I'm gonna see, maybe I can, yeah. I changed up some of my theming and other things after. I think that was a post stream that I did this. But Mint itself, overall, has worked really, really solid. But as far as customization goes, most of it is all built into the environment. There really wasn't anything I needed to drop to terminal for, and there really wasn't too much tinkering I needed to do with Mint either. Oh, some Anbox. Yeah, we can download some Anbox and try that out as well. Let me see what else I got on here. See, I keep a list of all the great ideas I get from chat, because almost all the YouTube videos come from chat. So, actually, looking at my list here, we got a little bit of System D. I'm going to be doing an upcoming video on. So, like, when you look at System D, a lot of people always hate on System D, but almost every major distribution out in Linux is based on System D now. And I wanted to go over all the aspects of System D because a lot of people may not use a lot of pieces of System D, and there's some pieces that are actually pretty decent. They have a bootloader. They have obviously the init system that everyone's always talking about. They have system timers, which suck. They have they have a DNS service. So like, you know how a lot of people add network manager on top of their distro. Well, a lot of times that interfaces with the System D resolve, or I think it's System Resolve. I can't remember the exact package, but that also fixes up System D. So I'll go over System D more extensively and how to properly use it. But yeah, that's what's up. Because I think so many people just hate on System D just because, you know, no real reason to hate on System D other than everyone. It's just cool to hate on System D. You know, you see a lot of vets hate on it, and then therefore a lot of people adapt that hate. I personally like it, but I know a lot of people don't understand all the, you know, if you're going to have System D and have it there, you might as well use a lot of the components to it and then slim down your system. You can still have a System D system and be really fast. You just don't need a lot more packages that you're installing. So I'm going to probably do a video on System D and like utilizing its bootloader, utilizing the actual, obviously the init system, but then also like doing DNS resolution through it and a lot of the things to where you're not bloating it up with all these external packages. So, be interesting. A different take on System D instead of just hating on it. I found an extension that can hide the title bar of a given window that can look sort of like a tiling window manager, still give you full DE environment too, like a mixed look. Yeah, there's a lot of projects out there, Anime, as far as the tiling window manager, so it's interesting. Yeah, the timers in System D do suck. Use Cronny. Cronny is the package you're looking for, and that's when you can do cron tabs. You can do, it's just so much more universal, and pretty much every scheduled task or timer out there in Linux just has that. So. Please, please, please. Tip video, power management. Yeah, that's on my list. Actually, I think I was going to do another advanced tips for Linux video coming up. And I was going to go over TLP, which is the power management I've been talking about. What else was it? Let me pull up my notes here. Yeah, I was going to be talking about power management, swappiness or swap file, otherwise known as page file for you Windows user. Swap and page, there's some differences, but overall they achieve the same thing. So when I'm talking about swap, and you know, most people understand like the Windows page file, it uses a paging instead of a traditional swap like Linux does, but they both achieve basically the same thing. And then also wanted to go over an Nmap, doing network scans, because network scans are extremely powerful. You should know what's on your network, how to find certain devices. So I was going to do that all in one video. Just do, hey, I think it was expert tips you don't know. Swappiness, Nmap, which Nmap's, it's on there. I don't know if I'd call that an expert tip. Nmap's more of like intermediate, but I'm torn on that. What do you guys think? How many people know Nmap and how to properly use it to scan their network? I wonder. Let me do a poll here, because I want to know on Nmap. Because when I do Nmap, let's see, let's pull that up on the old Mint. We can do an Nmap from here. Nmap, name, Nmap, SN, and this is pretty much the command to scan your network. So here's the tip. You guys are gonna get the tip early. That sounded dirty. All right, let's go 69.0, and we're gonna do 24. 24 is just the same as doing a subnet of 255.255.255.0. And if we do that, we need to install Nmap, of course. So let's do that. Nmap. Yes. I think you'll be disappointed. I don't think I have a 6969. So anyways, yeah, like this is a whole scan of my entire network. So it would pull in the entirety of this using -69. So this would show all my devices from 1 to 255 on this whole subnet range. So anything between 69 all the way up to 254 it would show. So, and I don't know the actual triggers here. I just, this is how I remember it. This may or not help you. Sometimes when I do stuff, it's not standard. By no means am I a network engineer. I have set up a lot of networks, but a lot of times I would just be loading configs done by another person. If it was a Cisco firewall, I can get around in Cisco, load configs, you know, IF, bring interfaces down and up, the basics, nothing crazy, and then do basic routes. But at the same time, I'm not a network engineer. So how I remember Nmap is totally not the official way. This is the wrong way to do it, but this is how I remember it. Nmap, SN, and I think serial number for SN. And why I think serial number is because this will give me every single thing on the network and its actual host name. So, you know, I know what the host name is, hence the serial number to match it up. And then I just type in my network with the 0. So 192.168.69.0 and then /24. Almost everyone's going to have a 24 or that subnet. Not very many residential people ever change it. So, you know, yours is probably going to be 192.168.0.0 or 192.168.1.0 is probably the most common in every network. But Nmap's extremely powerful, so you can actually trace back what all's on your network, which is great. So, yeah, if anybody hasn't ever used Nmap, it's great. But I do need, what was it, network scan, I think someone said in chat? Let me see. I was wondering if it would just pull up the package. Sometimes when you type in packages in Ubuntu, Mint, all these, it'll just pull up, which is kind of nice. Yeah, networking is fun. But at the very least, like, so. Oh, let's see. Am I blurry? Let's see. Let's go chat. Let's pop on over to chat, shall we? That looks pretty clear. Yeah. It could be the Canon autofocus if you're not looking right at the camera, or if like I get the microphone like up here and try and hide behind it. It could yeah, there it goes. See? it'll go out of focus. Oh, the whole stream. Yeah, it could be throttling. That happens. I'm on a 5,000 bit rate, which is not bad, but you know, pretty decent. We're at 60 push-ups right now. I think we still have another 40 to go. I believe we're sold out now. Cass was the last one to redeem it. We'll knock out another 20 here in 3 minutes. How's that? Give me time to work up to it. Yeah, I know there's better utilities. Singh says there's another one called Net Discover. I think someone else in chat said there was a Network Scan. I just know Nmap because it's probably the oldest and it's probably the most universal. So if you're on pretty much any Linux-based system, Nmap's probably there. So that's why I know Nmap, and that's always a good one to know, just to grab. But there's better ones out there. One of my favorite, I think it was an open source project, and I think it's actually Windows only, actually. Let's see. I remember it because of The Big Lebowski, one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's called The Dude. It's been a while since I've actually gone to it, so let's pull that up. I'll go over to, what, primary here? Let's go primary. So there was The Dude network. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I'm still on Mint, aren't I? Let me fix that. Bloop. The Dude. Oh, Microtech bought them out. I hate Microtech routers, by the way. Cheap pieces of poo. It's horrible to say, but I mean, they're neat to tinker with, I would say. I guess The Dude got bought out. It used to be an open source project, but it was really neat. You could set up your entire network and do diagrams, and you could do a scan, and it would just drop everything in there. So it was really neat to make diagrams. The Dude. Yeah, it's still probably a freeware tool. I wonder if The Dude GitHub still exists, because it was a fun one, man. Yeah, it looks like Microtech bought out The Dude and then integrated it into the router OS devices, which is Microtech devices that run that. But again, I hate Microtech. Fun to tinker with, but I would never use them in a business. The Dude GitHub. Let's see if it's still there. The Dude is the author of Lunduk. That's funny. I think this guy is not The Dude. The Dude network GitHub. Let's see. Yeah, Microtech Dude server. It looks like Microtech pretty much just took it over. That's a bummer. Yeah. I remember using it a bit, and it was very fun to use that software, but God bless. Doesn't look like it's anywhere. Well, bummer. But yeah, that was a fun one. You could still use a Windows box for it. Yeah, Pfsense is my fave. Like, if you're looking for a router, like, I'm using. God, let me see if I can show you this. I probably shouldn't grab my router. It's like, oh, let me take a picture. Let me take a picture with my phone. This is a good one. All right. What I'm gonna do is I'll share this with you guys and pull it up on the screen. But this is really, really cool. Just to show you the power of Pfsense and how much I love it, I'm gonna pull you up what I'm using for my router right now. My router is nothing special. A lot of people saw that I had this giant enterprise router down here, the Unify one. I still haven't put it in because of how much I love Pfsense, which is hilarious. So, Text Pride, you're gonna really like die if you think Pfsense is trash and you see what I'm using Pfsense on and what I could install. So you're gonna think this is hilarious. So let me pull up my photos. Actually, I'm gonna cover that up real fast because I don't know what's in here. You just never know on stream. I always let crap slip. So, all right. Yes, that's a little blurry photo, but we're gonna rock it. All right, here we go. Bam. Look at that beast. Yeah. So this is a PC Engine self-built router. So I actually ordered this, assembled it. I took off the casing of it mainly because it was just getting so darn hot. It was running at about 65 to 70 Celsius because I do quite a bit on it. It's a ARM system. I think 4 cores, 4 gigs of memory, and yeah, that's what's running my network right now. That's what I'm streaming through. Yeah, so it's all self-built. Yeah, it's kind of moving when I took that picture, but oh well. It's a neat system, but I really love how it's all constructed and built, and everything I know is exactly what I want. But at the same time, there is this router, which I'll go ahead and switch back to chat and show you the one that I'm not using because I love Pfsense so much. So this will probably kill Tex in chat because he doesn't like Pfsense. Because this is what I could be using. Let me grab it. Yeah. So this, focus. This is the Unify Security Gateway. Yeah. Yeah, that entire beast is there. Yeah, this has got pretty much everything you'd want. 1 million packets per second performance, integrated, managed by Unify controller software. Oh, yeah, there's just so much here in this package. And I'm just so hesitant to take it out. That's the funny part about all that. Focus. Focus. Okay, there we go. But, to each his own. That's how much I love Pfsense, though. Like, when I say I love Pfsense, literally I have like a $600 router right there, and I haven't switched it out with my little janky, sent from China, hobbled together hobby project, which is hilarious. Yeah, it's too white, too much lights. I don't think people realize how much I'm blinding myself on these streams. Still uses ViOS instead of the new crap Ubiquiti ships with their UDM machines now. Oh, man. Yeah, so Ubiquity definitely, like, I looked at that Terra on one of the streams. I think you were on it. But yeah, hacking into it using like the console and those types of things. I was trying to change some stuff around. I think I'm still going to install this one just because I know I'm going to get a lot better performance using that compared to my Pfsense box. But setting up like OpenVPN and getting everything reattached and doing all that, I'm just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I have everything set up. Like, I have this one like completely tied into like my businesses and other stuff, so I can easily get to where I need to go. And I know. I need to bite the bullet and swap it out, but there's a lot of things I have tied into this Pfsense box, and I know I'm gonna have to drop to CLI in the Ubiquity one and then get all that set up. And I can't bring myself to do it just yet. Just can't bring myself to do it yet. So I'm going to just keep rocking my janky self-built router for now. Oh, look at that. It's running a 6-core 2U server. Hey, that's not overkill. That's the way to do it. I did grab a UPS. So my UPS in the bottom of my rack is fried, so I did buy another UPS. I have gone a little crazy with my purchases of late, just because I'm revamping a lot of my audio coming out. I was talking with Mike, and he was like, hey, because Mike, you used to be an audio technician for Hollywood, I believe, of some sort, or a motion picture company. And I've been using the outputs, the speaker outs, in both my stream PC and also my studio PC. And, well, that's all well and good. The crappy thing is it does introduce a lot of noise. So when using a USB DAC, you get a lot cleaner output. So after we get off stream today, I'll be switching out from the traditional analog out in the built-in motherboard to the USB DACs. And I have some Gorilla Tape. I'll put that up right behind my mixer and then just come right in from that USB DAC into the mixer. So it should kill all noise from both the studio and stream PC, which would be pretty cool. So getting clean audio is always, man, it's so difficult. So difficult. I never thought it would be audio of all things. Video is a little easier to knock down, I think. But, oh well. Yeah, and if you are using the Unify stuff, guys, you do a Docker container for the controller. You can do your self-built Docker container. You can probably even use a Pi for it. I don't know. No, maybe not a Pi. It probably doesn't have enough juice. But what Unify does is they sell these cloud keys, is what they call them. And they're basically $200 proprietary boxes that all your Unify equipment hooks up into, and it runs a controller to control all your devices. You don't necessarily have to have the cloud key. You can just download the controller software, and it's Windows only from my understanding, at least last time I looked at it. So I was running it through a Docker container, and that way I didn't have to run a full-blown Windows server to host it. The Docker container from the hub is always out of date. Update it. Do image update. You can update your Docker images. So you can update the actual controller and then just commit it to an image through Docker. So by no means are you stuck. The Docker image that you download from like the hub is just a starting place. You just do all your config, you get everything exactly how it was, update your controllers, everything, and then you commit that image, and then you have a backup of the image in case something happens. But then also, you're up to date. There's no reason to just run with whatever they give you. I think I even have a article about that. Let me look. Was it Chris Titus Docker image? Let's see. Did I make an article about it? I did. Yeah. Here you go. Look at this. Yeah, committing changes. I did this actually before I started YouTube. So this one, and I did it mainly for myself, committing changes to Docker images and its containers. And containers. Images and containers. I guess that's proper English. Sometimes I make these articles and I'm just like, bah, 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 bah. They're full of English problems and those types of things. Fun fact, I barely graduated high school because I failed English. I didn't know I was graduating until the day I graduated. I had to do extra credit with my English teacher to even get a passing grade so I could pass high school. Because I hate English class, and I was never much of a writer. So anytime you see my articles, there's going to be full of like grammatical errors and other things, just because I'm not a big fan of writing. But I created all these articles mainly so I'd have reference to whatever I was doing. So as you see right here, this image I'm committing, let's see. Yeah, look. It says Unify latest. This was the Unify controller. And basically what this does is it just teaches you how to push and commit changes you make to your Docker. So do all your updates, get everything loaded, get all your devices exactly how you want it. And you're like, okay, I have the perfect network. Do a commit. Once you do the commit, copy that image off, and then always be running that container, and life is great. Oh, let me link that in chat. I forgot to link it in chat. Yeah. There's so much I don't know. It's so funny. When it comes to audio and video, there's a lot I don't know. A lot of people are like, oh, you know a lot. I'm like, no, not really. Not really at all. Yeah. I actually just got 2 in, Michael, yesterday. 2 DACs, because I was replacing every computer I have with USB DACs out that is going to be ingested into the mixer. But yeah, the cloud keys from Unify, if you have the money, definitely do them. I'm not saying they're bad products. I'm just saying it gets expensive when you start buying up all the stuff from Unify. And if you want to create your own, by all means, grab that down, run it as a Docker container. I have like, so for me, I wouldn't buy a cloud key. Why? It's not the money aspect. It's because I already have a huge Synology box back here. I'd rather just fire it up and run a Docker container from the CLI in my Synology box, because Synology runs Linux, and there's no reason why I can't just spin up a Docker container and run a Unify controller within it. Why add other hardware? I guess for redundancy, but that's overrated. If my Synology box goes down, the least of my worries is whether or not my Ubiquity controller is up and going. Congrats on the graduation there, Chris. That's a big one. Graduating high school. Yeah. The second gen cloud keys are pretty heavy. They're like bricks. You can probably knock somebody out with them. I am a little bit disappointed that they do run, I think, traditional spinning platters on the second gen cloud keys. If you ever plugged them in, they're very heavy, and they're very noisy too. I mean, not real noisy, but I mean, you can definitely tell it's a spinning platter that they threw in that instead of a solid state. So that was a bit disappointing. Oh, is it? Okay. I believe that's for the NVR storage. Well, still. It's a Ubiquity thing to tie in a whole bunch of Ubiquity products. I had it going on the stream earlier. Oh, we got a little bit double. Since we're in chat, we probably should just go over to chat. You know what? I keep refreshing this, and I mean to... I'm going to switch these overlays real fast. Chat overlay. Should probably keep this active instead of shutting down the source. Yeah, let's see. Does that work? Okay, good. Yeah, because every time I swatch off of it clears chat. That's fixed. I knew we'd run into something. I was like, this stream is going entirely too well for it being on a brand new stream PC and everything. Did you get banana and pineapple at your door yesterday? I wish. I saw the DistroTube post, Scotty. That's awesome. That is great. I always love whenever you run into like a giant crisis, you always see the best in people. You also, a lot of people can focus on the worst, but it's really cool to just see it does bring the best out of some people. And that's amazing when that happens, and that's always cool to see. But yeah, I saw that Distro 2 post where somebody was just going around the neighborhood giving out bananas and pineapples. A little bit random, but that's still cool nonetheless. Are you still running Debian unstable? So Tex, this is a good one to so my stream PC has ever been evolving. So I'll walk through the history real fast of the Stream PC. I initially started on Windows because of the Stream Deck, the fact I was using NVIDIA, and all the stuff that was happening. Well, that's all well and good, but I can't make Linux content with a straight face and be using Windows to produce the content, which is, what I stream on and what I record on is the same PC. So to me, it was like sacrilege. And I decided to move off of it. So I initially moved off to Arch Linux. I was real big on Arch, I think, 3 months ago. And such a bonehead. I don't know why I was thinking doing a rolling release on a stream PC that I need 100% uptime on is a great idea. I knew it was a bad idea when I did it, but I did it anyways. I don't know why, but I did it. And needless to say, it didn't take long before a kernel update happened, and I could no longer read like my Magewell card, and some other shenanigans happened that just was no good. So I switched off of it, and now I'm on, what is this? I don't even know what I'm on anymore. Oh, yeah. So of course I didn't go with the stable release again. I just like to break things, guys. I think that's the moral of the story. So I went with Linux Mint, had a networking issue that was my fault. I did some geo IP blocking, and I couldn't access Mint's update servers because it uses Ubuntu's update servers, which most of them are actually outside of the United States. So needless to say, I fixed that because then I installed Pop OS and I had the same error. I couldn't update. So I'm on Pop OS 20, long story short. And, I like Pop OS, but the tiling mode is janky and doesn't work. So that's the history of the Stream PC. And do I recommend the Stream PC? Yeah. Well, the future of Stream PCs is going to be Linux for a multitude of reasons. But today, unless you're a Linux intermediate user and above, definitely wouldn't recommend it. Because, man, it's a kind of a beast to get working because of all the different things with the NVIDIA drivers, coupled with the Magewell drivers for my PCIe capture card. Is I have 4 different capture cards in this guy. I could do 5 different capture cards. I have Magewell with 2 inputs. Which I regret. I should have gone with the Magewell 4 input. Still why didn't I go the extra couple $100? I cheaped out and I'm still kicking myself. So anyways, I have the Magewell card, I have the Avermedia USB card, and then I also have... What is that? I think it's like a camera or something. Oh, the push-up cam. The push-up cam is the third one. So that's what I got. And then I also have a cam link. And the cam link is not great. I thought that would be better, honestly. I should sell some of the USB cards. Right now, I think USB cards are like $300 or something. I should just sell them on eBay or something. Hey, morning, KR. How you doing? Yes, 18 Nightmare. I have 2 PCs. So, here, I'll just show you. This is probably the easiest way. Well, let me see. This one right here. Yeah, that guy right there. That's the stream PC, the blue lighted PC. And then this guy right here. This guy right here. This is a 4U $70 homemade Dremel tooled rack that I basically created because it was cheap. And I threw the studio PC in there. And it's not my proudest creation, for sure. I think I did that on stream. But anyways, yeah, that's the studio PC. I have the stream PC, the studio PC, and then these guys up here are the other ones we have. So right here, the bottom one, this is 1U. These are both 1Us. They're 3rd gen i5s. The bottom one is the Proxmox server where I do a lot of virtualization. There's a couple other stuff I do. And then the top one I recently just formatted, and it's running Mint. So Mint, Linux Mint machine. So that's what we got right now for PCs here. All refurb, all just kind of thrown together. Man, 41. What is it here? It's still pretty hot. What is it here, Tex? I think it's been a little warm, but it's been really nice. Like normally I think it's a lot hotter here around this time of year, and it's been like beautiful. Like me and my daughter went for a bike ride on Saturday and Sunday, and it was like 70, sunny. I mean, it felt good just to go out. We don't go far, but it was a beautiful day. Yeah, it got up to 80. You're right. But man, it had a beautiful breeze. Man, so nice. Yeah, Linux Mint. Like, and I'm about to redo a whole thing. I've been talking to Mike and setting up another go at my beginning video series. So I originally did, like 6 months ago, I did, I think Pop! OS is what I was recommending for a new Windows user coming to Linux. But I don't like GNOME, you know, for various reasons. But I showed how to install Pop! OS, but then immediately I was showing people how to take the desktop environment and switch it over to KDE. And while I like that series, and I think it showed a lot of points on a new Linux user, it wasn't great. There was still a lot of things that I could have done better. So this next series, I'm going to do another beginner series where I'm going to show Mint as the entry point, because Mint is more, it's a different design philosophy, and it would be a different entry point. So it's going to be a new playlist, Windows to Linux, and it's going to be for a lot of beginning users, because Mint you don't really need to do anything with, and it's all just kind of through GUI. So there's not really a time where I was like, I have to get on the terminal. And it's good for a beginning user, and if you're not a power user already in Windows, it's a drop-in replacement for the most part. And I've always recommended Mint and Pop! OS. And that's the thing that kind of drives me crazy too, and one reason why I kind of want to do it as well, is a lot of people, I think there was this huge discussion in the past month on YouTube about Ubuntu, and everyone's like, everyone should use Ubuntu out of the gate. I think DistroTube said that, I think a whole bunch of people said it, and I was just like, no, Ubuntu is it looks clean, there's a lot of things with it, but no, it's not a great experience for a Windows user coming over. They're going to run into a lot more issues. And what I would say, depending on what you're wanting, I would say Linux Mint or Pop! OS. They're two different flavors. You get a little bit of difference between both of them. Like Pop! OS over here runs GNOME, has a different workflow. Mint is more traditional Windows-esque. So you have these two different really noob-friendly workflows that are great. So I'm going to do a better job explaining and then also breaking down the videos and make it to where someone that's never seen my content can just see it and just go bam and just go right through. So it drives me crazy when people say use Ubuntu, and technically, if you're getting technical, the backend's the same to all these. Ubuntu, Mint, Pop! OS, it's all using Ubuntu's branch. It's just Mint and Pop! OS don't use snaps. So, yeah, it drove me crazy seeing everyone like pimp out Ubuntu this past month. I'm just like, ugh. You guys are killing me. Killing me with Ubuntu. It's not good for a Windows user. It just ain't. I don't care what you say. What's up, buddy? I'm in the middle of a stream right now. Okay, I'll be in a minute, okay? What about Arch? Oh, so yeah. So Arch is great. So Arch is probably where I learned the most in Linux. So like you have Ubuntu, you have Linux Mint, you have all those starting out. But then you have Arch, which is a completely different thing altogether. Arch is never a great beginning distro because the install process is one thing, but it's a great one to learn a lot of the intricacies of Linux on. Even if you're not an Arch fan, just going through that whole install process, breaking it down and understanding each piece of it will teach you a ton about Linux. So Arch is great for learning. And honestly, I still run Arch inside now. My main production machine's still running. Oh no, that's not even Arch. I think that's Manjaro. Same thing, whatever. Arch, Manjaro, they're pretty much the same. But I always recommend vanilla Arch mainly because you get to go through that whole process and you learn so much. So if your whole point is to learn a whole bunch about Linux, I think walking through and understanding each thing you're doing when you build out Arch Linux is very educational. So very good. And also using the AUR and that type of stuff, that's just fun because you can do so much so quickly. But Arch will always have a spot in my heart for sure, because that's where I learned probably, it just kind of clicked, where I was on Arch and I was like, ooh, okay, oh, this is how all of the Linux distros are structured. That was amazing, absolutely amazing. So Arch will always have a spot in my heart because of that, and it's a great learning experience for sure. Mac OS feels over basic in my opinion. So like, I've had to be on Mac a bunch this past month because I remote in and fix a lot of people's VPNs and all kinds of stuff. I have a whole office with about 30 or 40 people working remote right now. And what happens is a lot of these people have Macs, and initially I was like, okay, well, we can just remote into your Windows PC at work, but as this whole pandemic thing, it's gonna last a while. And I was like, okay, well, that's not a good solution because remote desktop, you only get one screen. It does impact your productivity. So I was like, all right, so I got to figure out a way to modify our systems to be Mac friendly. And that's when I started really kind of diving deep into Macs, and a lot of the interface of Mac OS I hate. So what I end up doing in Mac is hilarious. I'll remote into someone's computer and then I'm just immediately hitting Spotlight and going terminal. It's like you put a Linux user in Mac and this is exactly what happens. Like they immediately just ignore all of the GUI and drop the terminal and then just go like bah, 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 because a lot of the commands are so universal between the two. So I'll be sitting there and I'll just be like nano bah, 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 and then just knock out my configs, and then everybody on the other end of the screen's like, damn, this Titus guy knows his stuff. But I do it because it's just a lot easier getting around, and I don't have to worry about the little nuances and hotkeys and crap that goes with OS X. And a lot of times, like when you're using Finder, which is basically it's file manager. I think it's called Finder. It might be called Mac OS File Manager. I don't know, whatever the hell it's called. It's so limiting, and it like forces you into that user directory and trying to get out of it and navigate the locate. I'm just like, I'm so over it. I just dropped the terminal. I'm not in Mac OS enough to care, and I don't care to learn or relearn it, I should say. Once a time, I am certified in like OS X Tiger or something, which is like 10.7-ish, something like that. It would have been 2007 or 2008 when they first switched to what is it, x86 from PowerPC. Whenever that swap happened, that's when I got certified in Mac, because the place I was working at wanted me certified. That's awesome, Sparky. Don't forget the star after the /. Yeah, I hate the Finder is trash. I agree. It helps protect a lot of the Mac users, though, so that's why a lot of people use it. Yeah, I think it's time for some push-ups. Let's do some push-ups. I think we still have 40 left, so we need to hurry up and get done with some push-ups. Oh. Nope. Did I break my... I broke it. Oh, no, there it goes. Huh. Am I getting latency? I'm starting to get a little more latency. I need to do a low latency kernel on this. I don't know if that'll work or not, but I'm noticing a little more of a delay as the stream goes on. It's freaking me out a little bit. Anyway, push-up time. Yeah. Oh my god. Oh man. All right. Whew. I need water after that. Did the shed go up this weekend? KR, it did not. I was so lazy this weekend. I'm disappointed. I am disappointed in myself. Holy crap. Michael's at it again. Thank you again, Michael. Everybody that got a gift sub, thank Michael. He's awesome. All right, it's dab time for Thingfish. Dab after push-ups. Still got 20 more to go. Bam! Dab time. I dabbed so well, it brought me out of focus. Yeah, I was so this weekend I was gonna do the shed, but then I was like, crap, Monday stream's coming. I need to actually get in here and start setting stuff up, and I knew I needed to wipe out whatever I had on Arch, and yeah, that's what ended up happening. We need a category tech and workout. Wait till I get the Skycam. So, and you guys think I'm joking about the Skycam, but I'm totally not joking about the Skycam. Oh, so let me show you what I'm gonna do. Of course, it's gonna be based around open source because we gotta do some open source stuff. Let me see. It's Ye Home Cam GitHub, I think. Let's see. Yeah, Ye Hack is what the project's name. Let me go to the desktop. So here's what we got. Right above me, you guys have never seen this, but I mounted it when I put the studio up, and I just haven't used it but a couple times because the camera quality isn't great. And initially I wanted to do like some computer top-down stuff so you could see inside of it and see what I'm doing. But little did I know, because I'm still kind of a noob when it comes to cameras, all those YouTube videos you watch with all the nice inner workings, with all the top-down view and all that, those guys are literally spending thousands of dollars to get that view. They ain't spending $40 for a Yi camera. So, great in theory, but yeah. Here, one second. Let me fix this. Let's make this look pretty so we can see some chat. All right. So my whole idea with this Yi camera now has turned into a pull-up cam, so I get a little more variety than just push-ups, because that'd get me pretty swole, but I need to work on my back a little more, and pull-ups are great for back muscles and stuff. So we have a cam mounted right up here on the ceiling, and we need to hack it, because if you're not familiar with Yi home cams, they're cheap cams, but decent innards, to where I want to set up it as a on the network, like a RTSP, I think it is, a camera. So this guy created an open source project. It's on version 4 now, and basically what it does is it rips out all the crap that this manufacturer does and makes it to where you can actually go in and basically run your own stuff, and then I could add it as a GitHub source, a web source. It's not going to be like as good as probably the push-up cam, because that's a hardwired C920, but it's going to be close to that. Refresh rate's going to be probably a little less. It might run at like probably 15 frames. We'll see, but anyways, we'll enable this server. I'll pull it right into OBS using this. And this project, I think I'm using the 1080p Dome. So this guy right here is what we'll do. So it'll basically overwrite the firmware with this custom one, and then we'll have like a direct link through the home Wi-Fi, and then tie right into it. And then I'll put 2x4 studs with lag bolts into the actual joists that go above me, and then pull in a pull-up bar, probably like right here. You can't see it, it's actually just out of frame. So then I can just be like right here, grab on, and then do a switch scene, and then it'll go right to the pull-up frame. Oh, it'll be so cool. It'd be so cool. I know I like to waste a lot of time on crap like that, but that's just fun. That's just all in good fun. But yeah, that's I always spend the weekend looking up crap like that and tinkering around. I like the era of discovery of something new on a computer. Discovering something new is just amazing. Like when you're hacking around on a computer, it's funny. So like I used to like video games. I used to like a lot of stuff, and I've even played a couple video games on here, and some that I was actually really addicted to. And a lot of times I just like coming in here and just breaking stuff or finding something new. To me, that's more fun than playing a video game. So while Twitch is a video game streaming platform, I understand that. I like to use it for this kind of hobby. To me, this is like a game. So I enjoy it. It's like a real life video game, but it has a bigger payout. So like instead of getting some kind of currency in game, you get just rewarded with a wealth of knowledge that you can take and do all kinds of stuff with. And with it, I can teach people and then have people develop skills. Probably one of the best things I've ever gotten. I think it was a Twitter post. Somebody actually made a Twitter account and then just tagged me in it and said, hey, I just wanted to get on here and say thank you so much for your videos. I just landed my very first system admin job. And I was like, that's amazing. And he said a lot of it was, my videos. I think like Network Canuck was on there and some other YouTubers. But I think that's just amazing that you can learn a complete new skill through YouTube. And that's so undervalued in today's society. People put up these institutions like colleges and things like that and say, hey, you need to go put yourself in $250,000 worth of debt and go crazy. And you don't really even learn that much. I can't tell you how many college grads I've hired that are just completely worthless in the real world. And that's not a knock on them. That's a knock on the college. And I find a lot of it, if you utilize YouTube, you utilize all these other sources, you can pick up a skill way faster. You can learn way more than you did in 4 years in college and get into the practical world, apply that knowledge, and earn a crap ton of money without putting yourself in a ton of debt, at least here in the States. Now, if you're abroad and you can get good college, by no means am I knocking higher education. Higher education is very important, but here in the States, it's just such a wacky system right now that I'm just like, ugh, killing me putting kids in tons of debt like that. It's not fair. I would be out of a job if college engineers were great. Yeah, that's just it. At the end of the day, nobody cares in the real world where you got your degree or what you do. It's whether or not you can do the work. Can you do X thing? Whatever it is, how good are you at actually doing it? That's all that anybody cares. I mean, take my old boss, for instance. When I was a lead engineer for a satellite company, and they did disaster recovery for like FEMA, ATF, I think was a client. They had a whole bunch of different clients around the world. And at the end of the day, I sat there and I loved chatting with him because he was a techie, even though he was my boss. He always had his hands into things to learn stuff from. And honestly, that's where I got the rack and those 2 old PCs from. He was like, hey, I'm just going to toss this stuff for downsizing. And he had a 4-year degree from, I think, Vanderbilt in business administration. He had a bunch of, he was in college for a while and he came from a considerable amount of wealth as well. But at the end of the day, I was sitting there in his office and I was talking to him and we got on this subject and I was like, so give me your take. Because my take, everyone knows, I come from a very poor background, but I was able to just kind of self-teach and then also get certifications to get the credentials I needed to get my foot in the door. And I was like, give me your take on this. What's the difference between someone like me and someone from college that also has the skills? Is there much of a difference? And he's like, honestly, at the end of the day, I don't care. I just want someone that can get the work done. Whether or not they had a degree from X, Y, and Z, I don't care. I just want the stuff finished and completed and done right. If that's the college guy, great. If it's not, I don't care. And honestly, that's where the world's moving. Because at the end of the day, we're all results driven. So anyways, sorry for the rant. Moving on. Dang, master's in engineering and 40 years of experience. That's amazing, Mike. Which is funny, like, probably another example I'd give is my father-in-law. He didn't graduate college. I think he graduated high school. And he is a lead engineer or not a lead, he is the head of engineering. He runs an entire department for Baylor Medical Center. So he's in charge of all that. Now, I think how Baylor works, it's a hospital chain down here in southern part of the United States. And it contracts with, I think, CBRE, I think is his company. And he's basically head of the engineering and the director of their engineering department. And he doesn't even have a college degree. But the thing is, how he works is he's able to figure things out and solve really complex issues, no matter what it is, if it's mechanical or even if it's computer driven. Even though I don't consider him much of a computer guy per se, he understands how they work and he can work out really complex problems and fix things that just most people can't. And it's amazing. So yeah, another good example, real life example. No. Oh my God. Did you see the video about the WannaCry virus leaving wine and manipulating the host Linux private files? Oh my God. I need that link in my life. Kuna. I was talking about that earlier today about wine and how it did things. Oh my God. I would love to see that, man. Oh yeah. So the Yee hack, that's for the pull-up cam that I was talking about. I'm going to do this. I'm going to download this entire project. I need to get an SD card, I think, for it. And then I'm going to put it up there and I'll tell everybody my experiences with it. But we'll do that. And next stream, I'm going to put it on my to-do list Let me go ahead and grab this. I always have my to-do list. All right, let's go ycam hack. We'll put that in there. I know I'm still using Google Keep. I'm bad with it. So I tried a bunch of note-taking software, but at the end of the day, how I use my notes is, one, there's nothing in there that I don't care if the whole world sees. Because a lot of times I'm just out and about, whether it's my device here, whether it's inside, wherever I'm at, it's just tied into so much stuff that I can just add a note on the fly, just be walking and just be like, oh crap, something pops in my head, and just throw it in there, and it just syncs everywhere. But I never put anything in there that's private. I just kind of toss it all in there and then just kind of go about my day. And then when I get down to making a video, I can just pop in and go, okay, we're good. And then just go to town. Yeah. Is there even a decent source alternative to Google Keep? It's just so easy. JT, I've done, the closest thing I found was like Nextcloud Notes, which is decent. It runs on Markdown, and I thought it was pretty good implementation of it. I would say that's probably the closest thing to Google Keep that's pretty darn good. The reason why I didn't keep it is I didn't keep my Nextcloud server. I ended up just moving all to Synology. Synology Notes I thought kind of sucked, to be honest. Just not a fan of Nextcloud or the Synology Notes. So I tried it for a little bit. I tried Nextcloud Notes. I tried a bunch of them, and then I was like, you know, Google Keep's just so stinking easy. And while I don't like keeping anything on Google that I don't have to, it's just like my brain thoughts. Like if I just handed this out to everyone in the world, they'd just be like, what does this even mean? I mean, it's just such scattered thoughts. I run into something, I'm chatting, or you guys say something awesome, like, oh my God, that's brilliant. And then it gives me an idea, and then I just immediately just, blah, just toss a note like I just did. And that's how I'm able to interact and do things. So definitely one of those things. Microsoft to do. I'm not going to leave Google for Microsoft. But it doesn't surprise me that the to-do is not bad in Microsoft. I think, what was it, OneNote? A lot of people love OneNote, so. Yeah, F-Droid. I'm about to wipe out my Android over here and do some stuff. The Pixel 3. I'm going to see if I can't de-Google the Pixel 3. That would be kind of an interesting project as well. So you'll be seeing a video about that coming up. What cam am I using now? Zartes, this is the M200, Canon M200. A lot of people are like, when you're talking about streams with a good camera, a lot of them use Sony, and I already had an M500, or not an M500, an M50. And the M50 sucks for streaming because it doesn't have a clean HDMI out. The M200 does, and it's cheaper than the M50. It just doesn't have like a viewfinder and some other things photographers like. But I'm not a photographer at all, so I don't care. So I like the M200, and that's what I got right here. This is an M200. The kit lens is always a little eh. So this is a Sigma 1.4 aperture 16 mil lens. Michael actually recommended a better one that's more photography level. If you care about, so like, let me get like right here. You can kind of see the distortion, or probably the easiest way. The distortion's not too bad, but you can kind of see it on my arm. So it's not a great lens because it does distort a little bit, but it does have like a really crisp. The whole reason why I went with this one, because of the 1.4 aperture, I could do more low light and get that really shallow depth of field where everything's blurred back here. But yeah. It's not bad. Yeah, that's the one. Mike, if you care about the image quality, the Tonka 11 to 16 mil would be good. Equivalent as this one. I know the aperture was, I think, one more. So I think it was like a 2.4 aperture on that lens. Good to see you, HMS Potato. Stay safe, man. You too. Do a dab to Sweden. All right, Marie, you got it. I'll do a free dab here. Dab for Sweden. Fun fact, I actually spent a month in just a little bit north of Gothenburg, Sweden, Marie. So back, would have been 2000, I think 2005. I was in Gothenburg for about a month or so. It was actually before I met my wife. I dated a Swedish au pair and lived in, went and visited her family and everything. And, you know, it didn't work out, but that was a fun experience. Getting to experience how the cultural differences between like Sweden and the States here, especially Texas to Sweden. I mean, there's a huge difference in culture. And I love that. I always love seeing differences like that. It's neat. I think I made a picture. I went into like a McDonald's. I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to pay to use the bathroom. This is amazing. Just little stuff like that. And I remember the drink specials was interesting. Like when I visited Sweden, everything was like buy one, get two free during happy hour, or buy one, get one free. It was these weird sales. Instead of marking down the cost of the drinks, you just got more drinks. And I was like, that's kind of funny. So, but yeah, no, I love visiting. That was great. Scotty redeemed it. Redeemed a dab. I'm gonna go the other way with the dab this time. Dab time. But yeah, no, it's very interesting. The one thing that's kind of interesting to me, probably too, about Sweden, a lot of YouTubers come from Sweden. You know, you got PewDiePie. I think what was it? There's another couple out that way that come from there. Also, Canada, and Sweden has like a ton of the top YouTubers on YouTube, which is interesting. Probably because it just gets so darn cold during the wintertime. There's nothing but to stay indoors and make YouTube videos. The get one drink free thing is definitely a European thing. You'll find most of cocktail bars in London as well. That's funny. It's interesting, yeah. It's definitely there's pros and cons. I think one of the probably the coolest thing I saw in Sweden, which big props to their country, is the recycling was amazing. Like how they're so advanced in recycling. There's like 19 different bins for recycling, and they're so far advanced that I don't think they even have any trash in Sweden. I mean, it was amazing. And when I visited, this probably is the most American thing you can say for someone that's visited Sweden. There was no fat people. I think they like put them on a boat and send them to America or something. I couldn't find one fat person when I was in Sweden. I was like, I guess the stereotypes are true. I mean, this was like 15 years ago, so maybe it's changed a bit. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny. When I was there. I was like, oh my God. Because here in Texas, we got some, a good chunk of the population is, has a little more, America. F yeah. Oh my Lord. Getting in trouble. I'm getting in trouble already. We thick over here. It's true. Yeah, I hate cold weather. Like that's one of the things. Like I thought I was raised in Kansas. So I'm not native Texan, and I was raised in Kansas, and it gets cold there. And when I say cold, I mean it's like just like this. The wind hits you, and it's like single digits, and you're just like, oh, this sucks. So I ended up moving to Texas mainly for the weather. No joke. My brother lived here too, and he's like, "Hey, come on down here. We got a pretty good job market, and it's not as cold." And that's the whole reason I moved to Texas. And the job market was no joke. I got a job, I think the first day I was here. It was ridiculous. And I've never gone without work ever since. Like, there's never been a day where I was like, oh, I need a job. It was nuts. I mean, how good the job, I'm sure it's not now. I'm sure if I lost my job now, I'd be struggling, as a lot of people are. But man, I remember that was the big attraction to Dallas-Fort Worth for me. Yeah, there's pros and cons. Like, the grass is not always greener. There's downsides and things you'll miss, no matter where you're at. Every place has some positives. There's never been a place where I'm like, this place is just a complete. Actually, I take it back. There's a place I don't like. Houston. Anybody from Texas will get that. And there's probably a couple people that left chat that live in Houston. Nah, they would agree with me. It's so darn hot and humid during the summertime. It's misery in Houston. Ugh. It's like it's just, yeah. You ever been to Houston, Texas in July? You understand. Dallas is interesting because it gets cold enough here to remind me why I hate the cold. So, audio is finally tolerable. That's funny. I still have some background noise here, drummer, to where I'm actually about to clean it up even more. So, now I still have to. I'm gonna be tinkering around with a low latency kernel because I still notice a little bit of lag. As the stream goes on, I notice it just like between 50 and 100 milliseconds off. What is that? Full Metal Jacket, Scotty? Yeah. It's classic movie. Oh, chokes for your cables. Okay. I didn't even know that was a thing, Michael. I'll Google it after this. Is Dallas-Fort Worth all cowboys and cowboy hats? No, not at all. It's like any other. It's a melting pot. There's a lot of people from California here now. So you get a little bit of everything. Because the Toyota, I think Toyota's main thing moved here. A big insurance company moved here. And, oh man, we've had so much growth in the past like three to 4 years here in Dallas-Fort Worth. I mean, you get a little bit of everything. Fort Worth is probably a little more. You still run into the good old boy in Fort Worth. Dallas, though, man, it's a different environment, I would say. I mean, that's definitely stereotyping, but you definitely run into different culture between Fort Worth and Dallas. So you can't lump them all into one, to say the least. Fort Worth, you'll still see a cowboy hat or two, one or two. You won't see that in Dallas usually. And don't drive in Dallas. If you're new to driving in a lot of congestion, Dallas is not going to be for you. You'll get run off the road. Oh, yeah. This is my standing desk. So, like, the whole reason... I still get a little shake, see? I shake my desk a little bit, but I don't mind the shaking because then I can stand up during stream and it helps with my back, which is good. Yeah, relocated to Austin. It's mainly because of the taxes. So, like, the attractive part and why Dallas-Fort Worth is so good with work and tech work specifically is we don't have any taxes. There's no state tax. It's all just federal. So, like, I was working 2 jobs when I was in Kansas City, and I would pay 3 taxes. I'd have my federal tax, I'd have my Kansas state tax, and then I'd have my Missouri tax. And then if I went to a sports goods store like Dick's or Academy or any of the sports goods stores in Kansas, they also have a 30% tax on top of the sales tax. It's ridiculous in Kansas how the taxes out there. I mean, they tax you to death. and I think everybody knows my views. I'm more limited government than anything else. But I don't identify with any political party, that's to say the least. I think they both lost their mind. Yeah, everyone's always like, so you know, this is my hot take with what's going on. I don't talk politics much, but everyone's all about like socialism and stuff, and like, this party's a socialist. I look at both of them and I'm like, they're both socialists. I mean, really. I mean, you got corporate welfare with the Republicans, and you got the other side with the Democrats. I'm just like, dude, there's just no winning with either one. I mean, I'm just like, yeah. Anyways, I'm not gonna talk politics. You guys didn't come here for that, so we'll get back on track. Get back on track, Chris. Come on, you know better. Talking politics on stream, it's horrible. Yeah, Thingfish. I was in Prairie Village, so outside of Kansas City. Yeah. Kansas City's nice. It's a very nice place. Like the plaza in downtown. Yeah, I think it's the second city with the most fountains next to Paris in the world, which is cool. Swedish taxes. Yeah. When I was in Sweden, the Swedish taxes was interesting. I think I had one of the people there was actually flying to Germany, spending the week to work in Germany, and then flying back to Sweden because of some kind of taxes. And I was like, geez, does that save much? And he's like, yeah, about 10 to 15% of my income. And I'm like, oh, don't you still pay taxes on that though? And he's like, yeah, but it's different because I work in Germany. And I'm like, all right, that's weird. That's crazy. Yeah, bud. Okay, give me 15 more minutes, okay? I'll be done. I'm doing my work, okay? Okay. Give me 15 minutes, okay? Right in the pills. Yeah, right away. Ah! What is that? Stepping on my Bluetooth. Stop, support the rich. It's interesting. It's interesting to see all that, but anyways. Yeah, there's a lot of things with all that. It's very interesting to see all the different, like, there's no government out there that's like, they figured it out, it's perfect. There's no perfect system. So there's cracks in every place, but yeah, it's just interesting to see. And the older you get, the wiser you get, I think, to a lot of it. There's never a politician that exists that fits, that is the idealism is pretty much gone, and then there's just cynicism left, because you just see so many people make the same promises over and over, and none of them can deliver. And that's just politics. I think no matter where you live, I think that's true. It's one thing that is just crazy. But anyways, I won't go into any more of that. Let's move on. Oh, dab time. Thingfish, dab. For you, man. Dab time. Scotty. That's awesome. Maybe also cars and guns. That's true. You can limit it all down, Z8. There's so much you can talk about. So yeah, like the thing that bothers me most about YouTube, politics, religion, all that stuff. Everyone has a hot take, and everyone thinks they know more than the next person, and everybody thinks they have like a solution. And the truth of it is nobody does. It's all like, that's it. Just, it is what it is. But yeah, it's there's a core set of beliefs, and this is probably the best way that I can explain politics, religion, no matter what it is. If you're talking about a subject, why politics and religion are so embedded in stuff is it's a set of beliefs a person has. And that set of beliefs will dictate their thought pattern, not the other way around. A lot of people think that if you say, hey, here's a fact, and it's to reinforce their point that goes against someone's beliefs, that person can never accept that as fact. So it doesn't matter what that fact is. Probably the best example I can give, and it's this. Okay, a psychologist is sitting in a mental ward, and a patient thinks he's a ghost. And he goes up to the guy and he's like, hey, you're a ghost, right? And the guy's like, yes, I'm a ghost. And that was his core set of beliefs. So the psychiatrist asked, hey, do ghosts bleed? And the ghost was like, the guy that thinks he's a ghost, he's like, no, ghosts don't bleed. So the psychiatrist takes a pin, pricks him, and he starts bleeding. What do you think the guy's response was? How humans work is their core set of beliefs. They will rearrange their thoughts and what they think is facts based on those core set of beliefs. So, of course, the patient responded, well, I guess ghosts do bleed. This can be applied to religion. It can be applied to politics. It can be applied to everything. You can't change someone's core set of beliefs. They have to change it. So I think the fallacy of so many people is they think they can change someone's beliefs by iterating facts or what they can skew as facts. And what ends up happening is those that believe will just discard, no matter how true that statement is. It doesn't matter. Their mind will make sense of it in a way that will not interrupt their belief pattern. And that's why when it comes to politics, when it comes to that, there's just no way to change it. So that's why, like, when I see people like on here talking politics or YouTube and everyone's like that, I'm like, people will believe what they want to believe, and once those beliefs are established, there's no changing it, no matter what happens. And it's a lot of people waste a lot of time because they don't understand that fact about people. Yeah, they do get beliefs do get strengthened and weakened by facts. But here's the thing. Here's the conundrum we exist in a society today. We're going deep on this stream. Here's the big conundrum. When you can search anything, let's say I believe the world is flat. And I believe that I'm going to just take the crazy ones out there, and if I offend somebody, then so be it. But I think this is pretty much a minority. Let's say you believe the world's flat, and you don't believe in vaccines and those types of things. There's certain things that have come about, and more radical, I'd say these beliefs are. But the beliefs get reinforced because you can search Google or you can search the internet and reinforce those with facts. I mean, you search anything, you can find what you want to reinforce that belief. If you want to believe the earth is flat, you can go search and find a whole bunch of stuff reinforcing that belief. That's the danger of today's society. That's where a lot of the advent of the internet, social media and stuff has kind of gone awry. Because you can do that. Because let's say nobody really watches the news and all that stuff anymore, or very few people, I should say. And a lot of people just intake what they believe, and they'll just search out stuff that reinforces their beliefs. Whether or not it's true or not is completely irrelevant. Thank you so much for the sub there, Threx. The world is flat. How time worked because the world was flat. I love it. I met a guy. God, what was it? I was at a party, and
he believed the world was flat. And the guy that had the party is like, yeah, this guy is really insightful. He's really smart. And I'm like, yeah, but he thinks the world's flat. And I was like, you do realize that I work, and at the time I worked for a satellite company. You do realize I work for a satellite company, right? You know how stupid that sounds to me? And he was like, no, you got to understand, man. This guy, he's real deep. And I'm like, all right. Well, here's the thing. I'm not big into drugs and hallucinogens. So it doesn't really jive with me, man. So here's how satellites work. They orbit around the Earth. I literally have to send something from a dish, bounce it off the satellite down to the spot on Earth. If it's flat, that whole system doesn't work at all. Are you just saying it's all a conspiracy and I'm dealing with a 1,000 millisecond lag for no reason? I mean, and then I was like, all right, but here's the thing is, don't ever argue with an idiot. They're just going to drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. That's my other hot take here. Don't ever argue with an idiot. They will drag you down to their level and beat you with experience. Boom. And that's why, it's hard. It's hard. So hard. But it's so hard to step away too. It's so hard to disengage because you want them to see the light. You're like, but you just got to give it up, man. That's the hardest thing. That's the hardest thing in life is just go, it's just not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. Just let it go. Let it go. Mark Twain. Mark Twain, yep. Yeah, that's it. Of course, it's Mark Twain. It's just CGI Photoshop. The Earth, you can actually even see the curvature of the Earth. If you get a really flat, living in Kansas, you get really, really long periods of just nothing. Just flat. As far as you can see, it's just flat. But you can actually see the curvature on the Earth if you got a good, 10-mile run. By the way, I googled Windows better than Linux and it didn't find enough support. That's awesome, Thrix. Oh, no, you can't. Yeah, 25.2 miles is where you can see the curvature of the Earth. Thank you for that fact. Tunnel vision, people get... Yeah. There is a block and unfollow button. And as sad as it is, Arch, you're absolutely right. You pretty much just got to block and unfollow. It's the same rationale why I don't respond to negative comments. If someone leaves me a troll comment or just is extremely negative or overly negative with not any constructive feedback, I don't mind getting negative as long as I'm able to learn from it or grow from it and it's constructive. I think that's a very important thing of growth. But some people just like to be very, very negative. And those are people, as horrible as it is, it's best just to block and leave. And I think a lot of people, struggle with that. I probably did when I first started. Not anymore, though. I don't respond. I don't engage. That's the big thing. I'm back using Windows because Linux drivers for the 5700 XT still suck. Oh, Jornade. Oh, man. That's too bad. I don't have a 5700 XT to help out either. I'm still rocking my RX 580s. So that's probably one of the best AMD cards I've ever... No, it is the best AMD card I've ever had. The RX 580s are amazing. Yeah. Actually, I have a GSF. I have a Vega 64 inside. So I bought that Vega 64 3 years ago or so, and it's still amazing. I got the Sapphire Nitro Plus Vega 64. beast of a card. I mean, it's bigger than some computers. It's like 2 Intel Nooks put together. That's how big that thing is. But man, it's still a beast of a card. That's in my inside computer, and I love that card. It's awesome. Oh man, yeah. 5700 XT still has no drivers? That's crazy. Okay, yeah, that's good to know, Tara. So for all the new card users out there of AMD, the 5.7 kernel has a lot of AMD Navi GPU fixes. So if you're probably running those cards, what's the GPU Pro looks like? Let's pull that up. Heck, let's pull this. Let's pull this in. Let's switch over to primary here. So let's look up. What is it? 5700 XT? Or no, let's look up AMD GPU Pro. I bet does AMD still release their own drivers? Let's see. Because you could probably use it like these. Oh, no. Look at that. GPU Pro drivers pretty much sunset. Oh, man. Let's look up 5700 XT. You got me curious now. 5700 XT driver Linux. Should have probably done Linux driver. What is this? Radeon software for Linux 1930. Provides support for the 5700 series graphics cards. AMD GPU all open and GPU Pro driver. Compatible to systems 18.04. That's it. That's it. Ouch. Oh, man. Yeah, so if you have a 5700 XT driver and you want to run this, you probably would be rocking, well, Mint or Pop OS. Probably Pop OS is what I'd rock. I'd probably run Pop OS 18.04, as that driver would work on it. It says Ubuntu 18.04, but it identify and probably take it. So you can use this proprietary driver in the interim until, 5.7 comes out? Really, it's 5.7 sub release 10 or something like that. It'll take a while before it gets perfected. But I bet with that, then you could swap back if you wanted to stay in the ecosystem. That's up to you. That is totally up to you. Yeah, I wish they did like a DKMS package. That would have been great. Like NVIDIA, like before AMD open sourced all their stuff, NVIDIA was just beating the crap out of AMD on Linux, mainly because they do a DKMS module and how they tie in with their proprietary stuff so much cleaner than how AMD was doing it. AMD just kind of threw their hands up and was like, here's all the source code. Just make it work, guys. And that's how they ended up pulling out ahead of NVIDIA in a lot of respects. Is this dude Titus? Good name, man. I like your name. Is this dude from the States? Yeah, Dallas Fort Worth, man. What is this? Victoria's Martin curse lit. Oh no. Do I dare play this? Oh, yeah, okay. I see it, Jornade. Let me go full screen so you guys can see it. Here you go. So this is a clip from Jornade. This is what the 5700 is doing. He goes to video, reflection quality, ultra, plus, what? You have to go to ultra, what? Oh, black screen, never mind. Oh, man. Oh, dang. This breaks my heart seeing this. Oh, that's just lovely. What in the... Dang, Jor. Man, I get it. What happens when you turn it off? Oh, no. Even with it off, I would have figured that would have fixed it. Yeah. That's just crazy. Ah, well. They'll get it under. They'll get those fixes in, Jor. Michael, I would buy different hardware before I went back to Windows. That's what I did. That's what I had to do with my stream PC. All the hardware I had just wasn't compatible. I was using like an M50 tied into like the proprietary Canon software and trying to get all that going. It was not good. And then I tried a whole bunch of different stuff, and I was finally just like, forget it. And I went and bought like a Magewell card and got everything Linux compatible, and then switched my stream PC over. But I still need to switch over to the low latency kernel. I'm going to see if I can't get all this working on a low latency kernel, because I noticed the lag as the stream goes on. We're about 2.5 hours in now. It still is a little bit of issues. That sounds like Friday's stream, yeah. A little bit, Michael. No doubt. Is there a way to ping from Linux OS to Windows? Yeah, ping. Oh, like, you mean dual boot, or do you mean just like the ping command? I like ping a lot better in Linux than Windows, but Linux is just notorious for being better with network stuff than Windows. Oh, dual boot, yeah. Dual boot's what I usually do on my inside PC because I still have an Oculus that needs Windows. So we still boot into that on occasion, for sure. Yeah, I think I saw Odor. I think I saw a stream with seven days to die. It looked pretty clean. I don't know what they were doing. I think they were using NVIDIA graphics, though. So, yeah. Dang, Finkfish with another dab. This is like the second of the stream, man. 20 minutes ago was the last one. All right, let's do a dab, finish up the push-ups, because I still have 20 push-ups I haven't done. And, yeah, let's do that real fast, shall we? Dab time. Dab. Super dab. No worries. I appreciate you. Oh, well, I think all the push-ups sold out. Almost time to up the push-up regimen. But I think I'm just going to add pull-ups in there. Once I get that stream going. Because that'd be fun to have the two different ones. That'd be a lot of fun. So let's do some push-ups real fast. Hit up the push-up cam. Ah! 21 for good measure. Yeah, there we go. 100 push-ups. Look at that. It's the most we've ever done. That is the most we've ever done. And I didn't completely die at the end. Hot dog. Take it easy, Cobra. Thanks for stopping in, man, as always. Staying in shape. So super important. Thank you for the cheer there, Michael. Yeah, the 1660 is what I'm using on my actual Stream PC back here. Come on, focus. When you go out of frame, sometimes the camera freaks out. 10 more for Sweden. What do you think of my idea up here? Hot swap drive bay and physically switching operating systems. That's a really good idea, Arch. If you have a hot swap bay, do it. It's a really, really good idea. All right, guys. We're going to finish this out. 10 more for Sweden. You know what? I love Sweden. I'm going to do 10 more push-ups, and then let's call this thing. I think do that. If you have any last-minute questions, pop them in chat. I'm going to do 10 more push-ups, and then we'll end this day strong, shall we? If I can get 10 push-ups in, I don't know. Regardless, let's do it. Ooh. All right. Woo. We got any questions? If not, let's do this before I hurt myself. Is there an Mdot hot swap bay? Jor, kind of. You can't. There's not a hot swap bay for Mdot or NVMe, but they do make trays for SATA-based ones. So you can't get the NVMe speed, but you could use the hardware to swap them out. So kinda. At least from what I've seen. If I'm wrong on that, anybody is welcome to correct me. Now go run 5 miles. That's next. I used to get Baker's cysts or whatever it is. Runner's knee as it's called. But I used to be really, really into running. I loved running. I would love to run again. I'm going to start. I'm going to start again for sure. Well, all right, guys. Let's end it here. Thank you so much for coming out. Always fun to have you guys chat, dab, do some push-ups. We'll add some more stuff just for having fun. It's always a blast chatting with you guys and getting video ideas. I know today's video was super weird with cryptocurrency. I know I'm not going to talk too much on that, so don't worry. I'll probably just reserve those videos for like LBRY. So if you still like those videos, by all means, I'll just kind of isolate those out to LBRY because I know a lot of people don't dig those on YouTube. But I will continue doing, I think Wednesday's video is the installation of Linux Mint, and that's mainly Mint for beginners. We'll see how I do on my production in my editing, but I wanted to try something completely new on those edits, and I'm going to be doing like timestamps inside the video. So a complete noob that's never seen me or done anything in there, they'll be easily able to go ahead and grab in there and actually do everything. And just jump right to where they need. So if you're got stuck on an install, you could easily go into that spot of the video. So I'm going to work better on my timestamps. I think that's kind of fallen off as of late, and I was never very good with it to begin with, and I'm going to get better with timestamping for sure. Love you guys, and LBRY, let me put the link down here if you're interested in that. I do everything through my website because I don't trust Google. And the whole reason for that is I don't want to put any external links to anything in my description. So a lot of times I just have a dynamic links library I set up through my website to where it redirects where I need it to go. That way, also, if something's wrong with the link, instead of going back and editing the YouTube video, I can just edit it up in my dynamic links library and everything's right with the world. Raid, yeah. Let's raid somebody. Thank you so much. Again, Michael has been killing it this stream. Another 3K bits 3 minutes ago. Thanks so much, Mike. You're awesome, man. Appreciate everything you do. Where should we raid? Let's see. Who's online is probably the best question. If anybody has anybody, we'll look at some takers here. What do we got? We got Adam online from Science and Technology.
Are we scared of this?
Oh, what is this? Oh, chess. I do love me some chess. All right, RXOROB. I don't even know who that is. Let's rate him. Thank you so much for the sub there, Zach. Or, oh no, it's Skull. Skull gifting subs. Thanks for the gift, man. To Zach. Now shower time after so many push-ups. First, it's bike ride time with my daughter. We always do a mid-afternoon bike ride. She's getting really good. Trying to teach her some tricks, BMX style. Teaching her a wheelie, and then yesterday I taught her how to jump off the curb. And now we're still working on the wheelie up onto the curb. So, we'll see. X Games, here we come. Watch, next stream I'm going to be like in a cast. You'll just see it. That means I missed. That's what's going to happen. Oh, no. RWX, Rob. Okay. Here we go. Queuing up for the raid now. Yeah, I got him. If anybody doesn't want to raid RX Rob, just hop out. Here we go. Let's do it.